All right, everybody keep asking where is part two for the video. Honestly, it really wasn't a part two, but I did have more things written on my paper that God had for me to say, but not so much a prophetic word, but just in regards to his word. So everybody been talking about a shift. And if you go on my social media page, on Instagram, I have posted in the beginning of January that God told me that there will be a shift that takes place. So when he talked about a shift, no lie, when people hear about a shift, you think about like a huge excitement, like, oh, there's a shift, because automatically you might think to yourself like, oh, this is a big blessing and everything is coming. Let me tell you right now, God gave me another clear revelation on a shift in August. My pastor spoke about this, and he also spoke about the different things that would transpire and take place, but God gave me the clear revelation in regards to a shift. And when he talked to me about the shift, he said the shift will not just take place with you. It will take place with your family. It will take place with the people at your job. It will take place in everything that surrounds you. And God also been dealing with me, and that's what I had written on the paper, so maybe that's why I didn't want to write it either. God also had me to write on the paper about reading Ezekiel. God has been getting on me about reading Ezekiel the past few months. No lie. Every time I start it, I stop and I do not read it continuously, but I will discipline myself to begin that again on today. But I want to read you the word that God gave me also on December 3rd, which it was the entire Ezekiel 33 chapter, but I'm only going to read certain portions. You could go back and read it yourself. We got to study the word of God for ourselves. Ezekiel 33:17 says, your people are saying the Lord isn't doing what's right, but it is they who are not doing what is right again. And then I'm going to read Ezekiel 33 and 32 through 33. And it says, you are very entertaining to them, like someone who sings love songs with a beautiful voice or plays fine music on an instrument. They hear what you say, but they don't act on it. But when all these terrible things happen to them, as they certainly will, then they will know a prophet has been among them. Now, when God gave me this chapter, I read the whole thing, and basically, in my own words, it's also talking about how he has given us, his people, a word to give to the people of the world, meaning not Christians and other people. And when we give those people those words, basically, sometimes it sounds like a lot of noise in their ear because they're not receiving what it is that we tell them. But those, again, that has the ear to hear what it is that God is saying, they will be able to hear. So again, just like I put in part one, I'm telling y'all the shift is taking place, and it's so exciting. It's exciting to see what's transpiring in the physical realm, knowing that God had already told me, along with some other people and some other prophets, about what's going to transpire. But again, it's exciting to see that this is happening in the physical realm, knowing that God has already done everything that he was supposed to do. But when we yield to our physical senses and ask God to enlighten our spiritual senses, the things begin to transpire more. He allows us to be able to see more things. When people talk about open up the heaven gates, do you really want the heaven gates to open? Because when the heaven gates open, you have to understand, you have to be able to stand through anything that comes along with that. Because what comes along with the anointing, what comes along with the prophecy, what comes along with everything that God has called you to do, you have to be able to stand. And I keep talking about stand because I'm telling y'all, I received this word yesterday from one of my mentors, and God had already given me this word on December 3rd about stand, and what I wrote in part one in regards to Colossians. So understand, be diligent. Trust in what it is that God has told you, on what God has given you a clear vision on, and you have to trust in his word. You have to stand in his word. I'm not talking about your own visions, your own goals. Nothing's wrong with that. But if God has given you a clear vision, if God has shown you some things that you know that will transpire, you have to stand strong in your assignment. You have to stand on your post. Sometimes it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's easy. Whoever tell you that it's easy, you know what? I'm not going to even say what I'm thinking. But whoever tells you that it's easy, Good for them. But it's not always easy. But guess what? We know that God is going to get the glory. We know that God is strengthening us. God is tuning us. There's so many things that God is doing. And there's so many other things that God revealed to me. But no lie, that's my personal stuff that he has, given me a revelation on. But I just want y'all to understand, again, it was not a part 2, but since people asked for a part 2, I just want to be obedient on what it is that God has called me to do. But listen to this, and this is very serious. When it comes down to changes, God told me this. So with challenges were birth change. And I'm going to say that one more time because everybody may not understand that. With challenges will birth change. So in the midst of us being challenged, in the midst of things being shaken up and shifting, maybe not in the way we thought it would shift, but shifting, that's where the change is going to take place. And just know, as children of God, it's going to be a great change. It's going to be a blessing. We have to stay strong in his word. We have to stay in tune with his word. We have to not just hear his word and listen to his word, but we have to worship. We have to praise. We have to pray. Get your prayer warriors. Like, you have to be just on it. So y'all, that's it. Grace and mercy.